my people, thank you for being with me today. My radio and goggles box is what this is going to be about today. So let's get into it and check it out. So first off, over here we've got my trusty Taranis X90 Plus back from 2018 when I started flying RC planes, and then gradually started moving over into drones as well. So it's pretty much a stock Taranis. I haven't changed too much on it. What I have changed is the gimbals. I've changed the gimbals to Hall sensor gimbals, as the original potentiometer gimbals starting wearing out after a couple of years of use. So I've got these Hall sensor gimbals, which are smooth and feel awesome. They're great. Also some silicone switch covers for tactile feeling on the switches around here, and a bit of cloth on these grips. Other than that, I'm running the Crossfire Micro TX 900 MHz long range system module in the back here, which gives me many kilometers of usable RC range. I also installed a lithium-ion battery here in the battery bay, which carries 3000 milliamps. I exchanged the original FreeSky nickel metal hydrate 2200 milliamp battery for this lithium-ion 3000 milliamp battery. So with this battery I've got plenty of power and capacity to run the radio with the Crossfire module, and only have to recharge after prolonged times of flying. Other than that, it's pretty much stock. I changed up the colorway after a couple of years to this, and I really like it, my trusty radio. Then over here we've got my digital DJI FPV goggles. I've got this sponge piece at the back here to protect the lenses. So these are the V2 goggles by DJI. What I did to these is I adapted and built this faceplate right here to fit my head and face perfectly, also with soft sponge here at the back and some soft cloth material, which works perfectly now. These are really comfortable and I love wearing them. Also, I used part of motocross goggles to build the faceplate, and also used the fat soft strap from the motocross goggles on these goggles now, and it simply feels awesome. Other than that, the antennas I've changed from the linear polarized antennas, which originally came with these goggles. I changed them to circular, left-hand circular polarized antennas. So I've got the TrueRC X²s installed here on the top. These are crosshair directional antennas, so they are good for going out far distances. And then right here at the bottom I've got two TrueRC left-hand circular polarized stubby antennas, which are omnidirectional, so these are good for flying all around. And these goggles anyways combine all four antennas for the reception. So I've got the crosshairs for long distance directional beam array and the stubby omnidirectional antennas at the bottom here for peripheral flying. And with this goggles in this configuration, I get at least around 10 kilometers of directional range with good image transmission quality and megabit transmission rate. So I'm really pleased with these. Since I've gone into digital FPV, the penetration and image clarity of these goggles is simply amazing, and I wouldn't want to use anything else, so these are great. For the goggles we also have our battery pack over here, our original DJI lithium-ion pack. I usually store this around between 60 and 80% and then charge it off to tops just before I go out and fly. That way making sure I give the battery a bit of a prolonged lifetime. And I store this right over here with the cable up here. I also got an OTG adapter over here, which I use together with this USB-C cable. And this USB-C cable is what makes it possible to connect the goggles up to an Android phone, and people can actually spectate and watch right at the moment when I'm flying, and can watch right that experience with me and be right there. So that's a great thing. I always take this along and have people come and ride along when I'm out flying. In here I simply got the Ethix Lanyard, which I use for my radio. Now we got this separate box, a camera box, which I'm using. That's my recording camera that I use on the drones. Whenever I don't use only the FPV system and the goggle recording, I strap this BetaFPV Insta360 SMO 4K to the drone. It's a naked style action camera, so it's really pretty thin and slim and lightweight, and it gives awesome crisp footage at 4K resolution up to 60 frames per second. So that's what I use for recording. And the great thing about it as well is it works with this cable plugging into the flight battery pack. So I can, at the same time as I use this camera, save weight by not having an extra battery installed into the camera, and I get better flight performance out of the drone and more persistent flight performance without adding additional weight to the drone when I'm recording. Then over here I've got this small array of computer fans, which I usually as well power off a normal flight battery pack. Just simply plug it in and then have it running. This fan helps tons when I'm working on my drones. I'm programming something, or I've got the drone powered up and I'm waiting for GPS lock. I don't want the digital video transmission system to overheat, so it's good to have a cooling system installed just to make sure it doesn't overheat and shut down and prolong its lifetime. Also, when I'm recording with the action camera without it being on the drone where it's being cooled with the airflow, I can simply stick it behind this array of fans and it'll actually keep the camera working and cooled and make sure it's in good conditions. For the goggle battery, I still have another cable over here to power the goggles. Just a power cord with a barrel connector and a INSTA360 connector, which works as well for the flight packs. So I can plug any of my batteries that I use to fly into this and then power up the goggles, and I get a prolonged lifetime to power up my goggles. So this is really a neat thing, a handy thing to have, and I always got it tucked in over here as well. Alongside with a little pin here, which I use to bind my air units whenever I'm switching from the Vista to the O3 air unit, or vice versa. When they have to be rebound, I have this binding pin in here. And a small arrangement of Allen keys right here in this block of balsa wood. That's just the most popular sizes that we use on our drones. So from my 3.5 inch, 4 inch and 5 inch drones, I got the 1.5 mm, 2 mm and 3 mm hex key in there. I have them over here. So anytime I gotta tighten up the frame or open up something to check on something in the equipment, I got my tools over there handy. As well as over here, small box with a SD card adapter and usually a spare SD card for recording more footage. Or I carry an SD card where I already got some footage of previous flights on to show off a little. Up here I got this ND filter set tucked in, which is an ND filter set for the O3 air unit. So whenever the lighting conditions require for the use of an ND filter to get nice crisp footage and the motion blur effect, I use these ND filters, put them on my O3 air unit. So I got an ND8, 16 and 32, depending on however the conditions are. I just slap that on there and get the best footage possible directly from the drone. Other than that, that's actually my complete setup here. I got a couple of battery straps for spare battery straps and to mount the action cam up here, and also a couple of foam wedges to wedge between the action cam and the drone frame. Yeah, that's about it on my flying setup. This is really convenient. I simply take along the whole box wherever I go, take it out of my backpack, open it up, and have all equipment ready to use just the way that I need it and the way that I expect it. Very consistent performance from this equipment which I'm using, and I enjoy this way of being able to organize my equipment. It's simply a plywood box that I made to fit in all the equipment that I wanted to put in here. It's some mattress sponge with a soft cloth cover that I stuck on afterwards to keep gear protected. I simply took my time doing it and let the process do its thing to see where I want things and what is everything that I want in here. Now I've worked it out. That's the layout, this is it, and I'm completely happy with it. Another thing that I've got over here, this box. This is my charger and battery storage box, which I'll give you a sneak peek to look inside. So inside this box you'll find everything from our batteries to our charger and our parallel charging board. Everything in one box, open and ready to use for charging or for ripping drones whenever needed. I'm going to explain more about this in a separate video. So I hope you're keeping in tuned. Thanks for watching this, checking this out, and peace.